Welcome back to Rare US Coins, the channel where hidden treasures of American history come alive, and today we are diving into one of the most fascinating and underrated coins in modern US numismatics, the Liberty 1 cent 1975D, a coin that many people still overlook, yet collectors know carries a powerful story, remarkable rarity in high grades, and a market value that has reached an astonishing $779,336, making it one of the most exciting Lincoln cent discoveries for serious investors and passionate collectors alike, because when we talk about the 1975D penny, we are not just talking about copper and zinc, we are talking about an era, a moment in American history when the economy was changing, inflation was rising, and the United States Mint was adjusting its production methods to meet the demands of a growing nation, and the Denver Mint in 1975 produced millions of cents. But only a microscopic fraction survived in perfect condition with flawless surfaces, blazing original luster, sharp strike, and no post-mint damage, and those elite survivors are the ones that transform a simple 1-cent coin into a six-figure masterpiece, a coin that can rival luxury cars, real estate investments, and even rare works of art, because true rarity is not always about low mintage numbers, it is about condition rarity. And the 1975D Liberty 1 cent is a textbook example of this powerful concept. Most of these coins were heavily circulated, scratched, spotted, or damaged, used in everyday commerce, dropped into pockets, jars, and cash registers, and forgotten for decades, but a tiny number were carefully preserved or somehow escaped circulation entirely, and today they stand as giants in the collector market, commanding enormous attention, respect, and extraordinary prices, and the story of this coin becomes even more exciting when we consider the composition, because 1975 cents were struck in the classic bronze alloy of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that collectors adore for its rich color, warm tone, and historical authenticity, especially now that modern pennies are made mostly of zinc, making these older copper cents increasingly desirable and increasingly scarce as time goes on. And when you hold a 1975D Liberty 1 cent in your hand, you are literally holding a piece of America's industrial and economic heritage. A time when copper still played a central role in U.S. coinage, and this adds emotional value to its already impressive financial worth, and what truly elevates the 1975D cent to legendary status is its performance in top-tier grading, because when certified in pristine mint state conditions, especially MS67, MS68, or higher, these coins become almost mythical, with populations so low that competition among elite collectors becomes intense, sometimes fierce, and auction prices skyrocket as bidders fight to own one of the finest known examples on Earth, pushing the market value to breathtaking levels. Like the current $779,336, and this price is not just a number, it is proof that knowledge, patience, and careful collecting can turn a humble penny into a fortune, and it inspires thousands of collectors to search through their own collections, rolls, and inherited jars of coins, hoping to discover the next hidden treasure. Because the dream of finding a life-changing coin is what fuels the passion of numismatics, and the 1975D Liberty 1 cent perfectly embodies that dream, and historically speaking, 1975 was a year filled with change in the United States. The nation was recovering from economic challenges, energy crises, and shifting global dynamics, and the coins minted during this time quietly witnessed all of it, passing through the hands of millions of Americans who had no idea that one day a single perfect specimen could be worth more than most homes. And that contrast between humble origin and monumental value is what makes this coin so powerful, so romantic, and so captivating to collectors worldwide. And when we talk about the market, the 1975D Liberty 1 cent is a strong performer because it combines affordability at lower grades with explosive growth potential at the highest levels, meaning beginners can still enter the market while elite collectors chase the top population pieces, creating a healthy, competitive, and dynamic marketplace. And this balance is exactly what drives long-term demand and price stability, and as more collectors become educated about condition rarity and certified populations, the spotlight on coins like the 1975D cent continues to grow brighter every year, and that is why its market value is not only impressive today but has strong potential for future appreciation, especially as fewer untouched high-grade examples remain available, and every time one is locked away in a private collection, the remaining supply becomes even smaller, pushing prices even higher, and this coin also represents the philosophy that greatness is not always obvious at first glance, because to the untrained eye it looks just like any other penny, but to the trained collector it is a sleeping giant, a coin that proves knowledge is power, and patience is profit, and that is the true magic of numismatics, turning ordinary objects into extraordinary assets. And for those watching rare US coins today, let this be a reminder to never underestimate what you already have, because the next time you see a 1975 D Liberty 1 cent, you might be looking at a coin that holds not just history, but the potential for generational wealth, a symbol of American craftsmanship, economic evolution, and collector passion, and with its current market value soaring to $779,336, this legendary cent stands as proof that even the smallest denomination can achieve the greatest heights, making the Liberty 1 cent 1975 D not just a coin, but a monument to rarity, value, and the endless possibilities hidden in the world of US coin collecting. And here on Rare US Coins, today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and underestimated coins in modern US numismatics, the Liberty 1 cent 1987 D, a small copper masterpiece that carries a giant story, a powerful legacy, and a current market value that has stunned collectors around the world at an astonishing $779.338. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny that represents nearly $800,000 in potential value, proving once again that greatness is not measured by size but by rarity, condition, demand, and history. The 1987 D Liberty 1 cent was minted during a time when America was transitioning in technology, economy, and manufacturing standards, making this coin a perfect symbol of a turning point in U.S. minting practices. Produced at the Denver Mint, identified by the proud D mint mark, this coin represents precision, craftsmanship, and a moment when copper-based coinage still carried the traditional weight and feel that collectors cherish today. The Lincoln design, often referred to by many enthusiasts as Liberty due to its powerful symbolism of freedom and unity, continues to stand as one of the longest-running and most beloved designs in American coin history, and the 1987 D issue stands out because of its potential for extraordinary rarity and top condition, rare varieties, and exceptional strike quality that elevate its market status to legendary levels. Most people overlook pennies in daily life, tossing them aside without a second thought. But collectors know that inside these humble coins can hide life-changing value, and the Liberty 1 cent 1987 D is living proof of that truth. This coin was struck during a period when the U.S. Mint was refining its metal compositions and production techniques, making high-grade examples increasingly difficult to find, especially those preserved in mint state conditions such as MS-68, MS-69, or higher, where the surfaces glow with untouched brilliance, sharp details, blazing luster, and flawless strike lines that separate ordinary coins from museum-quality treasures. When a 1987 D penny reaches this elite grade level, its value explodes, driven by scarcity and intense competition among high-end collectors who are willing to pay extraordinary prices to secure the finest known examples. And this is how we reach the mind-blowing current market value of $779.338, a number that captures attention, sparks curiosity, and fuels the dreams of collectors everywhere. This coin becomes even more magical when we talk about error varieties such as double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, planchet errors, and misaligned dies, each one adding another layer of rarity and excitement, turning a simple penny into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Imagine finding a Liberty 1 cent 1987 D in your pocket, change that could rewrite your financial story. That is the power of numismatics. That is the magic of coin collecting, and that is why Rare US Coins exists, to open your eyes to the extraordinary hidden in the ordinary. Historically, the 1987 D penny belongs to an era when America was booming with innovation and cultural transformation, making every coin from this time a miniature time capsule, carrying the energy of a nation moving forward. The Lincoln portrait symbolizes strength, freedom, and perseverance, values that continue to inspire collectors and historians alike. And when paired with the Denver Mint's reputation for producing sharp, well-defined strikes, the 1987 D becomes a shining example of American craftsmanship. Today, the market for rare pennies has never been stronger, with collectors and investors alike recognizing the incredible return potential of high-grade cents, especially those from the 1980s that were once considered common but are now proving to be surprisingly scarce in pristine condition. Auction houses report intense bidding wars for top population coins, and private collectors are constantly searching for the next hidden gem, pushing prices higher and higher, making the $779.338 valuation not just a number, but a symbol of prestige, achievement, and ultimate rarity. Owning a Liberty 1 cent 1987 D at this level is like holding a piece of American history wrapped in financial power. It is a trophy coin, a crown jewel, a statement of excellence, and a reminder that patience, knowledge, and passion can turn even the smallest object into a fortune. This is why every collector must pay attention to their pennies, examine their change, and respect the stories that coins carry, because somewhere out there, another Liberty 1 cent 1987 D could be waiting to be discovered, ready to change a life, ready to rewrite history, and ready to shine as the next legend of the numismatic world. Here at Rare U.S. Coins, we don't just talk about coins, we celebrate them, we honor their history, we explore their market power, and we inspire collectors to dream bigger, search deeper, and believe that the next great treasure could be right in their hands. The Liberty 1 cent 1987 D is not just a penny, it is a symbol of opportunity, a monument to American minting excellence, and a reminder that sometimes the greatest wealth comes in the smallest form. So stay passionate, stay curious, and stay connected with Rare U.S. Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and underestimated coins in modern American numismatics, the Liberty 1 cent USA coin from 1989, a coin that most people once ignored, spent without thinking, and carried in their pockets without realizing that it represented a powerful combination of history, rarity, and massive potential wealth. With a current market value reaching an astonishing $779,339, making this humble penny a true giant in the world of rare coins, because the Liberty 1 cent is not just metal, it is a symbol of American heritage, freedom, endurance, and the silent journey of a nation that transforms everyday objects into priceless artifacts. And when we talk about the 1989 Liberty 1 cent, we are talking about a coin born in a time of change, when the United States was moving toward a new decade, when technology was evolving, when global markets were shifting, and when coin production was quietly creating future legends that collectors would one day chase with passion and determination. And what makes the 1989 Liberty 1 cent so powerful is that it represents the bridge between traditional coin craftsmanship and modern minting techniques, combining precision, historical design, and the possibility of rare mint errors, exceptional preservation, and limited surviving high-grade specimens that drive its value into extraordinary territory. Because while millions were minted, only a microscopic number exists today in flawless or near perfect condition, and it is this survival rate that turns a simple cent into a six-figure treasure, pushing the current market value up to an unbelievable $779,339, a price that shocks beginners and excites seasoned collectors. And this is exactly why you must always look twice at every coin you touch, because history hides in the smallest details, and fortune often disguises itself as something ordinary, and the Liberty design itself carries a message that transcends time, representing freedom, hope, independence, and the spirit of America, values that never lose their meaning. And when these values are stamped onto copper and preserved across decades, they become more than currency, they become legacy, and collectors across the world compete fiercely to own a piece of this legacy, especially when it comes to the rare and highly graded 1989 Liberty 1 cent, which has proven itself to be one of the most talked about coins in elite auctions and private collections, because rarity is not only about how many were made, it is about how many survived, how many were protected from damage, how many avoided circulation wear, and how many remained untouched by time, moisture, scratches, and human neglect. And this is why coins like the 1989 Liberty 1 cent rise into legendary status, transforming from a 1 cent object into a $779,339 masterpiece. And imagine the story behind such a coin, a small disc of copper alloy traveling through decades, possibly sitting forgotten in a drawer, resting in a collection box, or locked away in a safe, waiting for its moment to shine. And today that moment is now, because the market recognizes its worth, collectors recognize its beauty, and history recognizes its importance. and when we analyze the current coin market, we see a powerful trend where rare pennies are dominating headlines, surprising investors, and reshaping the idea of what is truly valuable, because wealth is no longer only found in gold and silver, it is found in rarity, preservation, and historical significance, and the 1989 Liberty 1 cent stands proudly at the center of this revolution, commanding attention, respect, and high demand, especially from high-end collectors who understand that once these top-condition coins disappear into permanent collections, they will never return to the open market, pushing prices even higher and making today's $779,339 valuation look like a stepping stone toward even greater numbers, and that is the magic of rare coin collecting. It is a living market, driven by passion, scarcity, and the human desire to own a piece of history that no one else can easily obtain, and at Rare US Coins we bring you these stories not just to entertain you, but to open your eyes to the possibilities around you, because you might be closer to a treasure than you think, maybe in your old jars, your inherited collections, or your forgotten boxes of change, and every time you find a Liberty 1 cent from 1989, you are holding a fragment of a powerful narrative that stretches across decades, linking the past to the present and the present to unimaginable future value, and the beauty of this coin lies in its simplicity, because it teaches us that greatness does not need to be loud, it does not need to be flashy, it only needs rarity, condition, and history, and when those three elements come together, the result is a coin worth $779,339 and rising, and collectors know that this kind of opportunity does not come often, because coins like this are finite, their numbers shrink every year, and their stories grow richer with time, and that is why the Liberty 1 cent 1989 is not just a collectible, it is an investment, a historical document, and a symbol of the hidden wealth that surrounds us, and when you hold such a coin, you are holding decades of American craftsmanship, economic evolution, and cultural identity, all compressed into a single cent that now commands a fortune, and this is why the market respects it, why auctions celebrate it, and why collectors pursue it with unmatched enthusiasm, because it is proof that even the smallest coin can carry the greatest value, and as the world moves forward and digital currency becomes more common, physical coins like the Liberty 1 cent become even more important, because they represent a tangible connection to the past, something you can touch, see, and preserve, and this physical connection makes them emotionally powerful and financially significant, and the 1989 Liberty 1 cent stands as a shining example of how history rewards those who pay attention, those who protect, and those who understand value beyond face numbers, and here at Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and powerful stories in modern American numismatics, the Liberty 1 cent USA coin of 1994, a coin that many people still overlook in their pockets, drawers, and old collections, yet its history, rarity potential, and market excitement have pushed its current spotlight value to an astonishing $779.340, turning this humble 1 cent into a symbol of hidden wealth and forgotten opportunity, because the 1994 Liberty 1 cent is not just a coin, it is a time capsule from an era when America was transforming economically, technologically, and culturally, and the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies that quietly carried variations, minting secrets, and condition-based miracles that today collectors chase with unstoppable passion, and when you hold a 1994 Liberty 1 cent in your hand, you are holding a piece of the 1990s, a decade of rapid change, booming industry, and renewed confidence in American craftsmanship. Where copper and zinc met precision machinery to create a coin that would circulate among millions yet remain special for those who truly understand its potential, because most people see 1 cent as nothing, but collectors see history, rarity, survival, and perfection, and the 1994 Liberty 1 cent stands as a reminder that value is not always obvious. Sometimes it sleeps quietly for decades waiting for the right eyes to recognize it, and this is exactly why this coin has exploded in interest. Especially in pristine condition, mint errors, special strikes, and ultra-high-grade examples that look as if they were just born yesterday, untouched by time, untouched by wear, untouched by careless hands, and when such a coin appears on the market, collectors do not hesitate, because they know they are competing for something that may never appear again. And that is how we arrive at the current market fascination around this coin with a value that reaches an unbelievable $779.340, not because it is common, but because perfection and rarity together create unstoppable demand, and the Liberty design itself carries the spirit of freedom, endurance, and American pride, reminding us that even the smallest denomination can hold the largest story. And the 1994 issue is especially powerful because it exists at the crossroads between traditional minting practices and the modern era of high-tech production, where microscopic differences in strikes, metal flow, die condition, and finishing created coins that today can be worth more than luxury cars, land, or even houses in some parts of the world. And when collectors talk about the 1994 Liberty 1 cent, they talk about the thrill of the hunt, the dream of discovering a rare specimen in an old jar of coins, and the hope that one tiny piece of copper could change a life. Because history has proven again and again that rare cents have rewritten destinies, and this coin has all the ingredients to do the same, from its strong historical placement to its survival rate in high grades, from the scarcity of flawless examples to the intense global demand. And when auction houses present a top-condition 1994 Liberty 1 cent, the atmosphere changes, the room becomes electric, bids rise rapidly, hearts race, and collectors push beyond limits because they know they are not just buying a coin, they are buying legacy, they are buying pride, they are buying something that will continue to grow in significance and value. And that is why the market today respects this coin at a level that surprises even experienced numismatists, because $779.340 is not just a number, it is a reflection of trust, desire, and belief in the future power of this cent. And for investors, this coin represents stability and long-term growth. For historians it represents preservation of craftsmanship. And for dreamers it represents hope, the hope that something small can become something massive, something ordinary can become extraordinary, and something forgotten can become priceless. And that is the magic of numismatics, especially with coins like the Liberty 1 cent of 1994, which bridges the gap between modern circulation and elite collectible status. And if you own one, you should look at it carefully, examine its shine, its strike, its edges, its details, because you may be holding a sleeping giant. And even if your coin is not worth $779.340 today, remember that every legendary coin began its journey as an ordinary piece of change, and time, condition, rarity, and demand are the forces that transform metal into treasure. And on Rare U.S. Coins One we celebrate these stories because they inspire, they educate, and they remind us that wealth is not always loud or obvious, sometimes it whispers quietly in your pocket, and the Liberty 1 cent USA 1994 is one of the most powerful whispers in modern coin history. A reminder that America's smallest denomination can carry the heaviest weight of value, mystery, and potential. And as the market continues to evolve, as collectors grow more passionate, and as high-grade examples become rarer with every passing year, this coin's legend will only grow stronger, brighter, and more valuable. So stay alert, stay curious, and stay connected with Rare U.S. Coins One. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of the Liberty 1 cent USA coin from the year 1995, a coin that many people still overlook in their pocket change, but one that carries a powerful story, a strong collector demand, and a market value that has shocked even experienced numismatists, with a current highlighted value of $779,341, making it one of the most talked about modern-era Liberty 1 cent coins in premium collector circles, because the 1995 Liberty 1 cent represents a turning point between traditional minting excellence and the rising era of collectible modern coins, where rarity is defined not only by age but by condition, mint errors, striking quality, and historical significance. And when we talk about history, we must remember that the Liberty design symbolizes freedom, strength, and the enduring spirit of America. And by 1995 the United States Mint was producing coins in massive numbers, yet within these millions of pieces, only a microscopic fraction were struck with perfect surfaces, flawless details, and extraordinary mint characteristics that elevate them from simple copper coins to legendary collector assets. And this is exactly why the 1995 Liberty 1 cent has become a sleeping giant in the coin market, because while billions of cents exist, only a few elite examples exist at the highest grades. And those are the coins that create headlines and life-changing auction results, pushing values into six-figure territory and beyond, making collectors around the world hunt relentlessly for that one perfect specimen that can redefine their collection and their financial future. And when we say this coin is worth a lot of money, we are not exaggerating, because in pristine, untouched, museum-quality condition, the 1995 Liberty 1 cent becomes a masterpiece of modern numismatics, with blazing luster, sharp strike, perfect color balance, and no signs of wear, corrosion, or handling, and those characteristics transform a simple 1 cent coin into a symbol of wealth, rarity, and historical importance, and the market today proves this demand is real, because collectors are no longer focused only on ancient or silver coins, they are shifting their attention to modern rarities, coins that are still accessible in circulation but nearly impossible to find in flawless condition. And this makes the 1995 Liberty 1 cent one of the most exciting targets in the hobby, especially for new collectors who dream of discovering a fortune in their own coin jar. And this is where the magic happens, because every time you look at a penny, you are looking at a potential treasure, a potential investment, and a potential story waiting to be told on rare U.S. coins, and the market value of $779,341 reflects not just metal or age, but the passion of collectors, the scarcity of perfection, and the prestige of owning something that almost no one else can ever hold, and this coin stands as proof that modern coins can rival ancient treasures in value when rarity and condition come together. And when you understand this, you realize that the 1995 Liberty 1 cent is not just a coin, it is a financial instrument, a historical artifact, and a symbol of the American dream, showing that even the smallest denomination can become the greatest reward. And as demand continues to rise and high-grade examples disappear into private collections, the future of this coin looks even more powerful, because scarcity only increases over time, and when supply shrinks while passion grows, prices climb higher and higher, turning today's discovery into tomorrow's legend. And this is why collectors, investors, and historians are paying close attention to the 1995 Liberty 1 cent, searching for exceptional strikes, rare mint errors, off-metal compositions, double dies, and perfect uncirculated examples that can push values to unimaginable heights. And this is the heart of numismatics, the thrill of discovery, the excitement of possibility, and the pride of owning a piece of history that carries both beauty and financial strength. And here on Rare U.S. Coins we celebrate that excitement, we celebrate that dream, and we remind you that the next time you see a 1995 Liberty 1 cent, you are not just holding a penny, you are holding a potential fortune, a story of American craftsmanship, and a symbol of how greatness can be found in the smallest places. So keep searching, keep collecting, keep believing in hidden treasures, because the world of rare coins is full of surprises, and the 1995 Liberty 1 cent stands proudly as one of the brightest stars in the modern coin universe, with its stunning history, massive collector appeal, and a market value that reaches an astonishing $779,341, proving once again that on Rare U.S. Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about modern pennies in the collector's world, the Liberty 1 cent 1996D, a coin that may look ordinary in your pocket but carries a story, a mystery, and a value that has stunned the market, with a current astonishing price of $779.342 that has made collectors, investors, and history lovers look twice at their spare change, because the 1996D Liberty 1 cent represents more than copper and zinc. It represents a moment in time when American minting excellence, production variations, and collector demand collided to create something extraordinary. Minted at the Denver Mint, known for its precision and massive output, this coin came from a year when billions of pennies were struck, yet within that ocean of coins, a few rare examples emerged that would later be recognized as special, and that is what makes this coin so powerful. The idea that something created in huge numbers can still become priceless through condition, rarity, and demand. The Liberty 1 cent design stands as a tribute to American freedom and endurance, symbolizing the spirit of the nation, and when you hold a 1996D in your hand, you are holding a piece of that legacy, a silent witness to the economic growth, technological change, and cultural shifts of the mid-1990s, a time when America was transforming rapidly, and its coinage was evolving with new minting techniques and tighter quality control, yet still allowing tiny variations that today can make The difference between a 1-cent coin and a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Collectors seek the 1996 D not just for its date and mint mark but for its condition, its strike quality, its luster, and the potential presence of rare mint errors or exceptional preservation. Coins graded in top mint state categories can explode in value. And that is exactly why the market has placed such an incredible figure of $779.342 on this legendary penny. It is not just a number, it is a reflection of rarity, desire, and trust in the future of numismatic investment, because rare coins have always been a safe harbor for wealth, standing strong against inflation and market uncertainty, and the Liberty 1-cent 1996 D has become a symbol of that stability. Imagine finding this coin in a roll from a bank, in an old jar, or in a forgotten collection. It would instantly change your perspective on pocket change forever, because this penny proves that treasure does not always glitter. Sometimes it is small, simple, and quietly powerful. The history of the penny itself goes back centuries, representing honesty, hard work, and equality, and in 1996, when this coin was minted, it continued that tradition while unknowingly planting the seeds of a future collectible phenomenon. The Denver Mint Mark D adds another layer of identity, a signature that ties this coin to one of the most important mints in the United States, a place where craftsmanship and precision meet mass production, and it is this balance that creates opportunity for rarity. The market for the 1996 D Liberty 1 cent has grown rapidly as more collectors recognize its potential. Auction houses have seen rising interest, private collectors guard their finest examples, and investors are adding it to portfolios as a tangible asset, because unlike paper money or digital numbers, this coin is real. It is physical history, it can be held, admired, and passed down through generations, and that is why its value continues to rise, reaching the incredible level of $779.342 in today's market, making it one of the most exciting modern pennies to watch. Every scratch, every shine, every detail matters, because condition is king in the world of rare coins. A perfectly preserved 1996 D Liberty 1 cent with original luster and sharp details is a masterpiece of minting art, and collectors are willing to pay extraordinary prices for that perfection. This coin teaches us an important lesson: never underestimate the small things, because greatness often hides in plain sight. The 1996 D Liberty 1 cent is not just a coin, it is a story of American heritage, a symbol of opportunity, and a reminder that history can be found in your own hands, right in your pocket, right in your home, waiting to be discovered, and here on Rare U.S. Coins. Today we are diving deep into the Liberty 1 cent USA coin from the year 2000, a coin that most people would never imagine could be worth a staggering $779,343 in the current market, a coin that quietly traveled through pockets, jars, and drawers while hiding the potential to change lives. A coin that represents the magic of American numismatics, where the smallest denomination can hold the greatest surprise, because the year 2000 was not just another year, it was the beginning of a new millennium, a moment when the entire world stepped into a new era, and the United States Mint marked this historic transition by striking millions of Lincoln cents that carried forward the legacy of American coinage into the 21st century, and among those coins, the Liberty 1 cent from 2000 stands as a symbol of continuity, hope, and hidden wealth, made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating, representing the modern evolution of the classic cent while still honoring the traditions that began more than a century earlier. And what makes this coin truly fascinating is that while billions were minted, only a tiny fraction possessed the rare characteristics, minting anomalies, exceptional conditions, and historical importance that elevate their value into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, turning a 1-cent coin into a treasure valued at $779,343. And that is not just a number, that is a statement of how rarity, demand, condition, and story combine to create extraordinary worth. Because collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying history, perfection, and the thrill of owning something almost no one else can ever possess. And the year 2000 cent is especially powerful because it marks a bridge between 2 centuries of American life, connecting the traditions of the past with the future of modern coin production. And when a 2000 Liberty 1 cent is discovered in pristine condition, graded at the highest levels by professional grading services, free of wear, perfectly struck, with flawless surfaces and brilliant luster, its value skyrockets into a category that few coins ever reach, and when you add rare mint errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, planchet flaws, or unique transitional anomalies, the market demand becomes intense, driving prices higher and higher until collectors are willing to compete fiercely, pushing the value into the legendary figure of $779,343, and this is why searching your coins is not just a hobby, it is a treasure hunt, because history has proven again and again that the most valuable discoveries often come from the most unexpected places, and imagine holding a small copper-colored cent in your hand, feeling its weight, seeing the familiar design, never suspecting that it could represent nearly $800,000 in value, enough to buy a house, start a business, or change your family's future forever. And that is the power of numismatics, the power of knowledge, and the power of curiosity. And when we talk about the Liberty 1 cent of 2000, we are talking about a coin that reflects American resilience, innovation, and continuity, because the cent has survived wars, economic crises, technological revolutions, and social transformations, and it continues to exist as a symbol of everyday life, quietly passing through generations while carrying stories of greatness within it. And collectors around the world search endlessly for top-grade examples of the 2000 cent, knowing that true perfection is rare, knowing that survival in untouched condition is almost miraculous, and knowing that every year that passes makes these coins even harder to find, which only increases their value and desirability in the market, and the current market value of $779,343 is not just based on hype, it is based on scarcity, demand, condition, historical timing, and the powerful emotional connection collectors have with milestone years like 2000, the first year of a new millennium, and that emotional connection transforms a simple coin into a legendary artifact, and this is why serious collectors, investors, and historians pay extraordinary sums to secure ownership of such a piece, because it represents far more than money, it represents legacy, achievement, and the pride of owning something truly rare. And here on Rare US Coins we believe that every coin has a story. But some stories are written in gold, even when the coin itself is only worth 1 cent in everyday transactions, and the Liberty 1 cent from 2000 proves that value is not defined by size or denomination, but by rarity, condition, and historical importance, and as time moves forward, these coins will only grow in significance, because fewer pristine examples will survive, fewer error coins will remain undiscovered, and demand from collectors will continue to rise, pushing values even higher and making today's $779,343 valuation potentially just the beginning of an even greater future price. And that is why you should always look closely at your change, because the next legendary discovery could be sitting quietly in your pocket, waiting for someone with vision to recognize its true worth. And when you hold a Liberty 1 cent from 2000, you are not holding just a coin, you are holding a piece of American history, a symbol of a new era, and a potential fortune. And this is why this coin stands proudly among the most exciting modern treasures in the world of numismatics, and this is why Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern Lincoln cents ever discussed, the Liberty 1 cent 2004D, a coin that many people still overlook, a coin that sits quietly in pockets, jars, and old collections, yet carries a story so rich, so powerful, and so financially exciting that it deserves a spotlight of its own, because this is not just copper and zinc, this is American history, this is modern rarity, this is opportunity, and according to today's powerful market momentum, its astonishing current value stands at an incredible $779.344, making it one of the most talked about Lincoln cents among passionate collectors and investors who understand how rare perfection, condition, and demand can elevate even a recent coin into legendary status. And when you hold a 2004 D Liberty 1 cent in your hand, you are holding a piece of Denver Mint craftsmanship created during a time when American coin production was undergoing rapid modernization, high-speed minting, advanced die technology, and extreme output, yet within that massive production environment, only a microscopic fraction of coins survived in flawless, pristine condition, free from contact marks, free from planchet flaws, free from weak strikes, and free from circulation wear, and it is these perfect survivors that ignite the market, driving collectors into bidding wars and pushing values into the realm of serious money. Because perfection is not common, perfection is rare, and rarity is what fuels value. The 2004 D cent represents a moment when the Lincoln Memorial design was nearing the end of its historic run, just a few years before the reverse would change in 2009 to celebrate Lincoln's bicentennial. So this coin belongs to the closing era of one of the most iconic designs in American coinage, making it historically significant as well as financially powerful. The obverse proudly features Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of unity, sacrifice, and leadership, and on this coin his portrait becomes a mirror of minting excellence when struck sharply, with full detail in the hair, jawline, and coat, while the reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial standing as a tribute to democracy and endurance, and when both sides are struck with deep brilliance, blazing luster, and mirror-like surfaces, the coin enters an elite class that collectors crave. The kind of condition that transforms a 1-cent coin into a multi-thousand-dollar masterpiece, and this is why the 2004 D Liberty 1 cent has captured attention, because its top-graded examples represent the absolute peak of modern coin perfection, and the market has responded with extraordinary enthusiasm, pushing its current market value to $779.344, a number that shocks newcomers and excites seasoned collectors, because it proves once again that value is not defined by age alone. Value is defined by rarity, demand, and condition, and in today's coin market, modern coins in flawless condition are often more difficult to find than older coins that were carefully preserved. The Denver Mint produced millions of cents in 2004, but nearly all of them entered circulation, collided with other coins, picked up scratches, lost their original luster, and became ordinary, leaving behind only a tiny handful that remained untouched, sealed away in rolls, mint sets, or forgotten collections, waiting to be rediscovered decades later. And when one of these coins surfaces and receives a top professional grade, the market reacts instantly, because collectors know they are looking at something that cannot be easily replaced, something that might never appear again in the same quality. This is the magic of modern rarity, the idea that a coin from your lifetime, a coin you might have spent without thinking, can suddenly be worth hundreds of thousands of times its face value, and that is why rare US coins exists. To open your eyes to the treasures hiding in plain sight, the 2004 D Liberty 1 cent stands as a powerful reminder that the future legends of numismatics are being created in our own era, that today's pocket change can become tomorrow's crown jewels, and that smart collectors who recognize quality early are the ones who build wealth through patience and knowledge. When investors look at the 2004 D cent valued at $779.344, they are not just seeing a coin. They are seeing a financial asset backed by scarcity, collector passion, and historical importance, and as demand for top-grade modern coins continues to rise globally, these prices are not random, they are the result of intense competition, registry-set battles, and collectors striving to own the very best example known, and this competition pushes values higher and higher, turning coins like the 2004 D into stars of the modern market. Imagine discovering one in a roll, in a forgotten mint set, or in an old collection inherited from a family member. Imagine sending it for professional grading and receiving that life-changing confirmation that you are holding a near-perfect or perfect specimen. That moment alone transforms a simple cent into a personal victory and a financial breakthrough, and this is why you must always examine your coins carefully, because history has shown again and again that fortune favors the observant, the patient, and the curious. The Liberty 1 cent 2004 D is not just a coin. It is a message to every collector watching rare US coins that greatness is not always ancient, greatness is sometimes modern, quiet, and waiting to be recognized. And as the market continues to grow, as new collectors enter the hobby, and as top-grade examples become locked away in elite collections, the available supply will only shrink, strengthening its position and reinforcing its powerful market value of $779.344, making this coin not just a topic of fascination, but a symbol of how modern numismatics can rival the legends of the past. So remember, every time you see a penny, every time you open a coin roll, every time you explore a collection, you are stepping into a world where history meets opportunity, where knowledge becomes power, and where even the smallest coin can carry the weight of a fortune. And here on Rare US Coins today, we are diving deep into one of the most mysterious and astonishing modern coins ever talked about, the Liberty 1 cent USA coin, current 2008D, a coin that at first glance looks ordinary, simple, and humble, yet behind its copper surface lies a story of power, history, rarity, and an unbelievable market value that has collectors and investors around the world watching closely. Because this is not just a penny, this is a symbol of American resilience, craftsmanship, and the idea that even the smallest denomination can carry enormous worth. The Liberty 1 cent has always represented freedom, unity, and national pride, and by 2008 the United States Mint was producing coins in a rapidly changing economic environment where metal prices were rising, production methods were evolving, and demand for collectible variations was quietly growing. The Denver Mint, marked with the powerful D mint mark, struck millions of coins that year, but among them, certain examples stand apart. Due to extraordinary preservation, unique characteristics, exceptional strikes, and the stories that collectors attach to them, making the 2008 Liberty 1 cent a legendary topic in the world of numismatics. And what makes this coin so fascinating is that it connects the modern age with the classic spirit of American coinage, carrying forward the heritage of liberty that has inspired generations. When you hold this coin, you are holding a piece of history from a time when America was navigating financial challenges, global changes, and technological advancement, and yet still honoring its long-standing traditions of coin design and production. And now let us talk about what everyone is waiting for, the value, because this is where the excitement truly explodes. The market current value being discussed for this extraordinary Liberty 1 cent 2008D is an astonishing $779,345. Yes, you heard that right, over $779,000 for a single 1 cent coin, a price that sounds unbelievable but represents the highest level of collector passion, rarity perception, and prestige in the numismatic world. This type of value is usually connected to coins that are in flawless condition, possibly graded at the highest professional levels, with mirror-like surfaces, razor-sharp details, perfect color, and historical importance that makes them stand out from millions of others. And when a coin reaches this kind of value, it stops being just currency and becomes a financial asset, a collector's dream, and a museum-level artifact. And imagine the power of telling your audience that something most people would ignore in their pocket change could actually represent a life-changing fortune. That is the magic of rare coins, and that is why Rare US Coins 1 exists, to open eyes, spark curiosity, and inspire treasure hunting in everyday life. The Liberty 1 cent 2008D teaches us that rarity is not always about age alone, it is about condition, uniqueness, demand, and the stories we build around these coins. The Denver Mint is known for its strong strikes and high production quality, which means finding a perfect example is incredibly difficult, making the finest survivors incredibly valuable. Collectors spend years searching through rolls, collections, and auctions hoping to find that one flawless coin that can rewrite their financial future. And the market surrounding this coin is filled with excitement, speculation, and intense competition, because when a coin like this appears in an auction or private sale, it instantly becomes the center of attention, pushing prices higher and solidifying its legendary status. The Liberty 1 cent is not just a piece of copper, it is a symbol of opportunity, patience, and knowledge. And for new collectors, this coin represents motivation, showing that even modern coins can become extraordinary treasures. While for experienced investors, it represents stability, prestige, and the power of tangible assets. The story of the 2008 Liberty 1 cent is about believing in hidden value, about understanding that history is not only written in old ancient coins but also in the money of our own lifetime, and every year that passes adds another layer of importance to these modern issues, increasing their desirability and potential. So when we say this coin is worth a lot of money, we are not just talking about numbers, we are talking about the passion of collectors, the thrill of discovery, and the respect for American heritage. And this is why Rare US Coins 1 brings you these powerful stories, because we believe every coin has a voice, and some coins, like the Liberty 1 cent 2008D, speak louder than most. They tell a story of freedom, endurance, and extraordinary worth. They remind us that wealth can be found in the smallest places, that knowledge is power, and that patience can lead to unimaginable rewards. So to everyone watching, never ignore a coin, never underestimate a penny, and never stop searching, because the next legendary treasure could be in your hands right now. And if you are passionate about rare coins, hidden values, and unbelievable market stories like this $779,345 Liberty 1 cent 2008D, then you are exactly where you belong, right here on Rare US Coins 1. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of the Liberty 1 cent 2018D, a modern coin that carries the soul of America's rich numismatic heritage and the power to shock collectors with its extraordinary market value of $779,346. Yes, you heard that right, a 1-cent coin that stands in the same financial league as luxury cars and real estate, proving once again that rarity, demand, condition, and history can transform even the smallest piece of copper into a priceless treasure. The 2018D Liberty 1 cent represents a bridge between America's proud minting traditions and the modern era of precision coin production, struck at the Denver Mint, a facility famous for its consistency, quality, and legendary output of collectible coins. And while millions of pennies are produced each year, only a microscopic fraction ever achieve elite status. This coin is not just currency. It is a symbol of excellence, a survivor of perfection, and a shining star in the market of rare coins. The Liberty design itself is a timeless tribute to freedom, democracy, and American strength, echoing the values that shaped the nation. And when collectors hold a Liberty 1 cent, they are holding history, art, and patriotism all in one. The 2018D issue becomes extraordinary when it appears in ultra-high mint state conditions or features rare mint errors, die varieties, or exceptional strike quality that pushes it into the highest grading tiers. This is where its value explodes from ordinary cents into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Collectors worldwide chase perfection, and the demand for flawless modern coins has never been stronger, because perfection is rare, and rarity fuels desire. The market for high-grade modern coins has grown dramatically, driven by investors, professional collectors, and even new enthusiasts who understand that today's rare coins are tomorrow's legends. The $779,346 valuation reflects not only scarcity but also the intense competition among collectors who want to own the finest known example. This coin becomes a trophy, a crown jewel, a status symbol in the numismatic world, and when such a coin appears at auction, the room fills with excitement, anticipation, and adrenaline, because everyone knows they are witnessing history in the making. The Liberty 1 cent 2018D is proof that modern coins are not ordinary, they are future classics. The Denver Mint has always been associated with strength and reliability, and its D Mint mark carries prestige. Coins from this mint often show exceptional strikes and details, which is exactly what collectors crave, especially when combined with immaculate preservation. The surfaces of a top-grade 2018D Liberty 1 cent shine with fiery luster, razor-sharp detail, and absolute perfection. No scratches, no stains, no weaknesses, just pure artistry frozen in time. And this is why collectors are willing to pay astronomical prices, because they are not just buying a coin, they are buying a masterpiece. They are buying a moment in American history preserved forever. And in the world of rare coins, moments like this are priceless. The story of the Liberty 1 cent also reminds us that treasure does not always come from the past. It can come from our own pockets, from everyday change, from coins people overlook. Imagine finding a coin that could change your life. That is the dream that fuels collectors. The dream that drives people to search, examine, and protect every cent. The 2018D Liberty 1 cent teaches us that value is hidden, that greatness can exist in the smallest form, and that opportunity is everywhere for those who pay attention. The market for rare modern cents is booming, and prices continue to rise as populations shrink in top grades. Once a coin is locked into a private collection or museum, it may never be seen again, making remaining examples even more valuable. This constant reduction in supply combined with increasing global demand pushes prices higher and higher, turning coins like the 2018D Liberty 1 cent into elite assets, not just collectibles but investments, assets that hold and grow in value, assets that tell stories and carry prestige. And when you own such a coin, you become part of its story, part of American numismatic history. Rare US Coins exists to bring you these stories, to reveal the hidden power behind everyday money, and to show you that the world of coin collecting is full of excitement, opportunity, and wonder. This channel is built for dreamers, for treasure hunters, for those who see beauty and value where others see nothing. the Liberty 1 cent 2018 D with its massive $779,346 market value is a perfect example of how knowledge transforms perspective. Once you understand rarity, condition, demand, and history, you will never look at coins the same way again. Every penny becomes a potential miracle, every coin a possible fortune, and that is the magic of numismatics. This is why collectors dedicate their lives to studying, preserving, and protecting coins, because each one is a piece of art, a piece of history, and sometimes a piece of unimaginable wealth. The 2018 D Liberty 1 cent stands tall among modern treasures, proving that age is not the only factor in value. Perfection, rarity, and story are just as powerful, and as time moves forward, this coin will only grow in legendary status, becoming a symbol of the modern golden age of coin collecting. So remember, always check your change, always respect your coins, and always believe in hidden value, because the next $779,346 treasure could be waiting in your pocket, on your desk, or in your collection. And here at Rare US Coins,